paid for almost everything, and I became a scapegoat for a lot of things.
Well, you probably had a lot of responsibility put on your shoulders as the oldest that
Yeah,
wasn't you didn't think was fair.
that's
And,
right.
and how old were you at that point?
Huh?
How old were you at that point?
Well, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Y-
14, 15.
yep,
For the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it was hell.
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Then you went in the Navy.
Then I went in the Navy, and my mother started picking on my dad. She gave my dad a hard time. My mother had a grudge against men. Her father had deserted her mother, and my mother refused to have him take a picture with her at the wedding that he came down to.
Yep.
So she held a grudge against him and took it out on all the men that was in her life that she didn't approve of.
Hmm.
So everybody was watching me getting the brunt of all of her anger. And they kept their mouth shut. They knew better. I was high strung, and I fought back.
You still there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're gone. And you're still here.
Oh yeah. Oh, they were a lot older than. Well, they didn't make 80. My dad died at 78, and she died at 79.
Really?
So I've lived 20 years longer than they have.
And Uncle Silvio's still alive?
Huh?
Uncle Silvio's still alive. How old is he now?
92. He's 6 years younger than me.
Wow.
Well, he was the first one, the oldest one of the second batch.
Yep.
My mother had a little vacation, a little break. There was 3 years difference between Romeo and Rita and Silvio. So he gained a lot of her. She got back a lot of her energy, and he was a lot healthier. Lionel was not healthy. Lionel, we almost lost him with bronchitis when he was a baby, 2 years old. And my mother almost gave him away to Louis. So Louis and the Lavells, they couldn't have no children, and she was debating giving them away. And I was against it, and I prayed that Lionel would get better so we could keep him. And the next day he felt better.
See? Prayer does work.
Huh?
I'm telling you, prayer does work.
It worked in,
Well, nowadays, they have done scientific experiments that you would be amazed how your volume and your tone of voice can affect white rice. I saw an experiment that blew me away. And after 2 or 3 months, one jar of rice was black and moldy, and the other jar of rice was as white as the day we put it in there. And it makes a difference whether you're getting positive stimulation with good vibrations or negative stimulation with horrible vibrations or chaotic vibrations.
And my
And
mother was the best one of her family. My aunt Adele was a weakling, and she had no power, no guts, she was, and Uncle Louis, he was worse than my mother. He was a bastard. He was and my,
not a real bastard, but you mean a bad person bastard.
he killed his first wife and his second wife with his brutality.
Really? How do you figure he killed them?
Abused them.
Really?
He abused them like my mother, you know.
Oh, that kind of, mental abuse.
Huh?
Mental abuse.
Yeah, physical.
Physical.
Yeah.
Really? They'd
Yeah.
hit each other?
Huh?
She'd hit you and she'd hit people?
My mother?
Yeah.
Oh, she hit me with a stick all the time.
Wow. Well, you wouldn't be able to do that today. But
No.
back in those days, I know I've seen some movies and video clips of. They showed it in the movies. They hadn't. They didn't even try to hide it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody did that.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't until years later where they discovered there was a lot of psychological damage in doing that, and it's that way
Yeah.
with a lot of things, including all these accusations they make against Donald Trump about his, uh, you know what I mean, comments he makes and the way he treats women. He came out of an era where it isn't that it was acceptable, but it was done, and it wasn't taken as a big deal. But you can't do that anymore because it is a big deal now. Everybody's focused on it. And they never really realized that what they were doing was hurtful to women. It, we didn't mean it that way, but that's the way they took it. We meant it as compliments. But, well, I feel bad for people that got caught up in that and are paying in society. People like Bill Cosby that I enjoyed so much with his comedy routines, and now you can't really promote it or even talk about it for what he's accused of and probably guilty of because they did those things back then. I don't know why he'd want to, but those guys had their pick of the crop. You didn't need to do that. Oh. Well, that's...
Yeah, life was very much more difficult back then.
Well, in some ways, and in some ways, it's just as difficult now. History repeats itself. Cycles repeat themselves. And like I said, from August 11th till the next 6 months, watch and see what goes on in the government because whatever starts going on is going to carry us through for the next 30 years. That's the general consensus of astrological opinion.
So,
Amazing.